Hey, folks, it's Mecha GM. And yeah, so where have I been? Where I didn't get an episode up on Friday. I was sick. Came down with a stomach bug on Thursday, and that knocked me for a loop. And I just didn't get anything up on Friday. I was thinking about recording something this weekend, but I didn't get around to it. And then Monday, well, patch 19.3 went live, and that was the save break. So that last playthrough is wrapped up, and we're going to be starting up a new one real soon. This video is going to be me going over the patch notes and talking about my plans for the next episode, the next series. So I just want to quickly go over the patch notes and what's changed and how it's changed. So for those of you who follow BattleTech and such, yeah. Get the patch notes up here on screen, and yeah, so starts off with it's a save breaking patch, and how the more involved setup for more involved stuff that you have to do for a save break for this patch. There's basically more stuff you have to delete out before you actually run the installer. Basically, that's all. Most is clearing out. It's mostly you want to clear out the cache also. And the save folder. Big ticket item, the big change is battle armor has changed radically. And Doves wrote a developer blog post about it, which I'll probably read over. Long and short of it, for the AI, BA has not changed. So clan battle armor is there and will work exactly the same. Wolf's Dragoons, if they can bring Dragoon battle armor, and that hasn't changed. That's it. That's all that brings battle armor, so that's fine. Urban ambushes can no longer spawn battle armor at all. Cool. For the player, battle armor is no longer controllable. What does this mean? You don't get individual battle armor squads. You instead get, how did he phrase that? There's a series of items that can be equipped to Omnimex and come equipped on APCs and VTOLs that allow the player to deploy AI-controlled battle armor squads in combat, much the way that the battle armor beacon used to work. The beacons and the contracts for battle armor have been removed. So these work basically the same way the beacons used to. But they got shorter deploy range than the beacons do, unfortunately. But that's fine. I did do a stream of new playthrough. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So there are the deploy items that you can put on Omnimex. Take one slot, weighs 0 tons. And they're going to be there are, from what I understand, every type of battle armor you could have purchased in the past will have a deploy item available in the stores where you used to be able to buy that battle armor before. So I suspect that IS Standard and Achilles and I think Armstrong will all be available in sort of the general stores in general. The ones that are available in faction stores will be there, and Twycross, and if you have community content on Merchant's Rest, and if you'll be able to pick up elementals and gnomes, I think, and maybe salamanders. I'm not sure. And the Novacat faction shop will have whatever the Novacat faction shop had. Same with Goliath Scorpion / Scorpion Empire. So that's the big change to battle armor. Players will no longer have direct control over the battle armor. I'll go read over Dove's developer blog on that after I finish going over the patch notes as a whole. Second big ticket item, C3 has changed significantly. This is due to the fact that C3 was regular C3 in BTA was busted as hell. The way it worked before is you could have as many C3Ss on a network as you wanted, as long as you had one C3 master. On tabletop, you could have 3 C3Ss per C3 master. And on tabletop, you could link C3 masters to another C3 master, so you could have nested networks. Can't do that in BTA. The way he's done it is he can't, for technical reasons, he can't do that in BTA. But he was able to find a way to have it so that you could. Each C3 master can have so basically he's broken into channels so that you can have more than one C3 network in your force, but they can't interconnect. So you have a C3 alpha channel, which is an alpha master and up to 3 slave units. And a beta master and etc. Gamma, delta, epsilon. I think it goes up through epsilon. So you can you can have multiple units set up in your lances. You can just sort of plug and play full lances of networks. Stuff that you encounter in the wild. So if you're salvaging C3, that will always be alpha channel. Just to make things simple, you'll always be able to salvage an alpha network basically eventually if you look hard enough. And most of the stuff that's not in the factions, and any mech you buy that has C3 will be alpha channel. If you want beta through epsilon channels, you have to buy that from either the Karita or the Comstar faction store. It's much less powerful. Also, you are able to, from what I understand, put 2 C3s of the same network, C3 masters of the same network on one mech, and have up to I think 5 slave units attached to that. So you have a group of 6. I think that's how that works. Because masters count as it's something like that. It's basically you can have a network of 6. You can have 2 networks of 6 or 3 networks of 4, basically. If you're doing 2 networks of 6, you need double masters basically on mechs. Doves has a video for that. I will put a link in the description for that. I'm not going to play the video on this video though. Blue Winds has been working on a new feature, custom campaigns, so the modders more easily make their own campaigns. Cool. As a proof of concept, she transferred the entire vanilla campaign over to its own standalone campaign functionality so that it no longer requires the Flashpoint DLC. This is the sort of restoration campaign, and it works just like it used to from the user experience. It no longer needs a DLC, which is a huge win. That's a behind-the-scenes thing. Very cool. Added a few more duel maps. I've run into the desert one. There are new solo and duo duels on Highlands, polar, and desert terrains. I've run into the desert one so far. Also, apparently, has fixed that rock that mechs can spawn on the Martian dueling map that they get stuck on. That's been fit. They've changed the spawn location for that. Big thumbs up for that. The black markets have been overhauled. Instead of calling from a very specific and relatively constrained list of mechs, black market can now sell you just about any mech, not any chassis, any chassis, and not any variant. 2 new starts: Omni and C3. Omni starts guaranteed a force of Omni mechs. To start with, in the C3 inserts an alpha channel through C3 network. I'm doing an alpha channel C3 network on Twitch. C3 starts in Stalford in the Draconis Combine. Omni starts in Castor in the Terran Hegemony. Both pretty cool. He's added a new the Gauntlet, a 55-ton Omni Bushwhacker. Not the best design ever. The Gauntlet helps bulk out the industry medium Omni mech weight class, which needed some help. You can get it from Lyran Commonwealth. A few new mech variants, including a Cossack variant. The HBK 6V has become player accessible via the stored Solaris 7, a new Hackers 2, and a new Blepharon. There's new thermal gear, the Speed Up Pod, which means when you activate it, you generate more heat, but you gain more ground speed. And the Reduction Pod, you generate less heat, but you're less accurate. And are sold in stores with other thermal pods. These piercing and precision SRM families are largely serve no positive purpose and so have been removed. Okay. There's a little community contents patch, including a new Loader King and Ontos tank, both which are player accessible. And the UMB-27 has been updated. That was the Battle Armor Transport Urban Mech. Basically, it's an urban mech with 2 internal battle mech bays that has been revamped with guns, apparently. The reinforced legs cork no longer stacks with itself. That was an unintended bug. Sanctuary stuff has been locked out of the salvage yards until 3063. That's good. So until after the sanctuary show up, or I think I think that's after when the sanctuary homeworlds was, I think. Overcharge part upgraded 20% damage instead of 15. Okay, that's actually good. Ultra Arrow 4 now is the artillery mode. Okay. Naval PPC no longer fires in melee. Good. Dane Sakellum now sells SCM in their faction store as intended. Okay. The 8C Chameleon no longer is underweight. All right. The Corsair 4D's model now reflects its design properly. Firebees are now more centered in House Lao spawns. So they're more likely to run them than House Lao. Icarus 2 now more centered in House Merrick spawns, more likely to run them in House Merrick. Activate button ECM has been removed due to being irrelevant. Right, so the added to be able to turn on and off your ECM, back when your ECM interfered with your personal C3 networks, that was removed, so that button no longer does anything, realistically. And probably fix the Excaliburs and Shield Maiden. All right. And that's basically the patch. As I said, the 2 big things is the battle armor and C3. Let me go over the developer blog here. Why did battle armor change in version 19.3? As you may be aware, battle armor were heavily adjusted in the BTAU patch 19.3. Before this patch, battle armor were what I call player accessible, meaning they had their own mech bay and could be deployed like normal units. In patch 19.3, this changed and they became non-deployable units, instead being moved exclusively to call down items that are equipable in Omni-Mechs and come equipped on APCs and VTOLs. This is a substantial change and many people want an explanation, so this blog post exists to give that explanation. There are a few reasons and we'll go through them one at a time. First, they were consuming more development energy than made sense for the limited impact they had. Battle armor were ultimately a niche unit that much of the player base did not like or want to engage with. This was tested via a poll in the BTA Discord server, where the plurality of respondents did not like or want battle armor to remain in BTA. We'll discuss this poll a little more in a bit as there's more to say about it. However, battle armor presented a continuous balancing issue as they were quite buggy and unbalancing in many ways. Players were directly incentivized to bring as many as they could, but simply use them for pilot skill abuse, such as sensor lock spam, due to the power multiplier this presented instead of engaging with intended battle armor mechanics such as swarming. This presented a lot of questions to the team and I about how best to manage this, and the answer we ultimately landed on is that most of the problems related to direct player control of the unit type. Second, seriously, they were very buggy. There were bugs around mounting and dismounting. There were bugs around swarming. There were bugs around pilot skill usage. And when you were able to do so, there were so many bugs, most of which could not be realistically fixed due to the mod in question, strategic operations, having no developer or maintainer at the current time. If there was a realistic path to fixing the bugs, that would have been a more attractive option for the team, but there wasn't one. Third, battle armor are extremely action intensive and very fiddly to play with. Mounting and dismounting battle armor has a lot of clicks on the mission. There's a lot of clicks. Each battle armor in the mission increases the player's cognitive load substantially. And since the player is incentivized to bring a lot of battle armor due to being strong force multipliers, the clicks to utility ratio gets out of hand quickly. Additionally, each battle armor brought also slows down the pace of gameplay each turn, as they each must be activated individually. These factors combine to make missions slower, take longer for something largely unnecessary, but players felt like they needed to use to get maximum value out of their deployments. Pour myself some more water. A lesson I've learned in doing BattleTech Advanced is that many players seek to optimize their deployments, even at the cost of fun or speed of play. Mecha GM insert here. That is partially because for some people, optimization is their form of fun, I think, but for some people, that is also just they just can't help themselves, and I get it. I mean, yeah. But yeah, no, I know what BD's talking about here. I am partially kind of that. I admit. I'm mostly at the cost of speed of play part. This is something worth considering and trying to simplify to help optimization-minded players still have a smooth and relatively fast playing experience without making them feel like they're nerfing themselves to get more playable experience. Fourth, and perhaps most important, battle armor weren't all negatives. Although they have a lot of downsides, as seen above, and though the plurality of respondents to the player poll indicated they dislike BA, a substantial minority of players actively enjoy battle armor and use them regularly. Additionally, in feedback taken about battle armor, the topic of battle armor making the clans much scarier came up regularly with many players, indicating that battle armor from the clans would be removing battle armor from the clans would be a net negative to the challenge the clans presented. Because of this, it was decided that battle armor should not be completely excised from BTAU. The net result here is that most of the problems could be avoided by removing battle armor from direct player control. The bugs and balance issues didn't matter as much if the AI was driving them, as the bugs largely were about player actions, and the AI being a little dumb with them helps mitigate the balancing issues. The action-intensive playstyle is also relevant if the AI is using them, because the AI can run through the actions much faster than the player ever could. I'm not sure irrelevant's the right word, but definitely mitigated. Removing battle armor from the direct player control basically solved all these issues. However, some players still like battle armor would likely enjoy having them in their force composition somewhere. To that end, the battle armor squad items were created. These are an individual item equivalent to Omnimex that allow players to, quote, call in a squad of allied battle armor under AI control. The player wanted battle armor in their force, they could simply need to equip one of those items and boom, battle armor ready to rock. They don't require repairs or rearmament, they don't require player control, so bugs/action-intensive behavior doesn't matter, and they come in a wide variety of options, one for every squad currently in BTAU. Okay, that's what I said earlier. The items are reasonably widely available via faction stores, where the associated BA squads were originally available, and cost a reasonable amount. APCs and transfer VTOLs retain their functionality as well, coming equipped with 1 to 2 battle armor squads out of the box, provide easy access to battle armor early on. Additionally, allowing battle armor to remain in BTAU in some form also allows the clans to retain their difficulty. Mechanics work the way they always have, which is slightly different than the way items actually allow, but this is a discrepancy that will remain due to having no great solution to it. Call it clan technological superiority in action. With battle armor still in the mod pack, the clans retain their difficulty with their battle armor support, something I know players are invested in. While I acknowledge this change will not be to everyone's taste, I do believe it to be for the best for BTAU as a whole. Battle armor were developed in energy drain, were extremely buggy, and were action intensive and slow to play, but also didn't need to be fully removed. Moving to equipable call-in items solves most of their problems while allowing players to still play with them in some fashion, and allows the AI to still retain access to them as a threat to players, which retains challenging gameplay. I hope that, after reading this, you will understand more of why the changes were made and what their intended purpose is. Give it a try if you haven't already, before judging too much about if it is good or bad. So that's the reasoning behind the battle armor changes. Overall, I think it's a definitively net positive in my opinion. That's a me thing. I think removing the fiddliness is a big help. And not being able to customize the battle armor really limits how overpowered they could be. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good thing overall. I'll miss the contracts That one with the beacon, just because it'll make the mobile HQ a little bit less flexible. But that's a minor thing I'll miss, and not a game breaker or anything close to that. So yeah, that is that. So the only other thing I want to talk about before I wrap this video up is I do want to discuss what the next playthrough here on YouTube is going to be. Oh, also, since some people did express interest in it, I will be uploading the VODs of my Twitch playthrough to the channel. I might eventually create a second channel for Twitch VODs. If I do, I'll move them over there. But short term, they'll be on this channel. And so I'll try to get the yesterday's episode up at some point this week. I basically do 2 streams of BattleTech a week, so there'll be 2 of them going up a week in theory. So more and very long BattleTech episodes for you guys. Since I stream about 4 hours every time I stream, so hopefully you enjoy that. All right, so let me go to the faction starter list so I can sort of talk about what I'm thinking. All right, so you can. I might as well have it up on screen while we're doing this. All right, so basically the plan for this playthrough is we're gonna do what I talked about doing last run, which was I do want to do the Sword of Liberty main story campaign as part of this playthrough. I think it's doubly plus cool because it means I get to test out and see if the changes worked, which I think is really cool. So, which means I want to start sort of in the southern part of the map, basically. So what are we looking at then? The stuff that starts in that part of the map is, I mean, in theory, we could do like Majesty Canopus. We could do Arano. Neither of which I'm super excited by. We'll take a look at what they have in a second. Or Torian, but we did that last time. And while that was fun, I think I want to do something different. Also in the general area, I believe the melee starts in the area, as is the Periphery Armory Incorporated start. Tanks is, but I'm not a fan of the tank start. I like the idea of a tank start, but I don't like the selection of tanks they give you. Like none of them are interesting in my opinion. Let's see. Let me take a look at what's in the Arano start here. Generic Periphery Medium. Okay, that's not this thing. Generic Bug. All right, you get an Regan Light, which is either the Mongoose, the Panther, Wasp, Stinger, Locust, or Firebee. Firebee is pretty solid. So there's 2 actually generally good mechs and a Panther. Wasp, Stinger, and Locust are not exciting. A couple of some Kintaros, Icarus, Shadowhawk, and Wolverine. Okay. Not exciting in my opinion. Magistry. Magistry Lights are Locust, Stinger, Anubis. Okay. Panther, yeah, Spider. Okay, so two okay ones and a bunch of them I'm not a fan of. Wyvern, Shadowhawk, Wolverine, Dervish, Hunchback. Okay. Not exciting. Also a bit far away, if I remember correctly. Actually, Lau's another one, which is the one we did before Torian, so I don't want to do that again also. Lau's a great start for this, though, I will say. Melee, what do we get with Melee? A generic medium, generic light, generic bug, Melee Light, which is a Valiance. Oh, there are 2 Mantises in there. That's spicy. And unfortunately, the crosscut. These are fine. That's the turkey. 3 Hatchemen, one of which I do like. That Talos is real good. That Huron Warrior is real weird. Melee is actually an interesting possibility, honestly. Having a pair of melee mechs would be kind of to start with would be interesting. Be a real change up in playstyle, actually. Huh. I don't like that as an idea. And PAI, Periphery Army Incorporated. You get generic bug, generic periphery light, generic periphery mediums. and Perfect Armory Medium, which is these are weird, wacky mechs. Like, okay, so these are the Periphery Armory mechs. They're loaded out with here's a great example: is the 5PA trebuchet. This is not. Yeah, this is. Oh yeah, so it is a trebuchet with 3 reloading rocket launcher 40s. It is comical. And 3 medium chem lasers and a small chem laser. This is hilarious. It is egregious quantities of firepower that it cannot handle the heat of. It's a funny mech. Armory Shadowhawk is mech grenade launcher, light rifle, SRM2, LRM5. Not exciting, but I get it. Perfect Armory Icarus 2. I'm not a fan of the Icarus 2 in general, but reloading rocket launcher 20s and a heavy cannon and some regular medium lasers. All right, I've seen worse. The Hunchback PA. Oh, this one with the machine gun arrays, and yeah, this will 2 large chem lasers and a whole bunch of heavy machine guns and machine gun array type. These will be machine guns in an array, I believe now, but I'm not. I don't know. This is an old photo of it. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of machine guns and a couple of large chem lasers. I'm generally curious about what the heavies, the mediums are here. The Centurion's a medium rifle, a grenade launcher, 2 rocket launcher 20s. Basically, it's a bunch of periphery jank, but like done in a way that's actually entertaining, in my opinion. Light cannon, 2 light cannons and a bunch of medium lasers and a pair of heavy machine guns. Like, this is actually legitimately it's like 1 alpha strike and then 4 medium lasers, which is not terrible, but yeah, that's the Periphery Armory Incorporated start. I'm currently kind of leaning towards the melee start, but I'm also debating on Periphery Armory. I will say this: that's what I'm leaning. I'm leaning towards melee. But if my dear viewers here, if you've got a preference, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what you guys like to see. Oh yeah. But so yeah, the current plan is we're gonna probably do either. I'm leaning towards melee or PAI, but if you guys have a preference for start, let me know. I'd love to see it. Yeah. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Unsurprisingly, as you guys probably gathered from me saying it, I do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/mechagm. Stream BattleTech I stream BattleTech twice a week, BattleTech Advanced Universe. Currently on Mondays and Tuesdays. And that may be changing up soon. But Thursdays and Fridays, Bloody Doves and I have been playing Elden Ring Seamless Co-op, though that's going to be wrapping up probably on this Thursday. So, yeah. But come check me out there if you want to see me streaming stuff live. And if you like this, engagement helps out. You all know the deal. Other than that, I got to get going. Becca Jim's going to be saying thank you all. Be happy, be safe, keep on gaming, folks. And I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.